sees the memes of production, and the like and subscribe button.
Beard's like chud coded now. We need to get like if we're really following the turn of the century, we need like an army of clean cut, you know, social democrats and socialists fighting against like Matt Walsh-esque soy beard growers. Joe Rogan dethroned by anti-Trump podcast in the charts. What anti-Trump podcast? The Midas Touch podcast. Is the Midas Touch podcast really outdoing Joe Rogan? I don't think that's true. Oh, they're good? Yeah, I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying I'd be surprised. I don't think that could possibly be true. According to Podscribe data. Okay, what do they pull from? Like Apple Podcasts only or something? Apparently it's more downloads. Okay, I'm not talking Midas Touch or whatever. This month he slipped down into Joe Rogan Experience has long dominated the podcast chart, but this month he slipped down into the second spot according to Podscribe. His podcast was downloaded and played 48.6 million times, a 32% decrease from the previous month. Oh man, I guess his strategy of like exclusively platforming right-wingers and then going on like paid spiels where he shills for the administration, like he's reading from a note card about like how epic it is that the autism king Elon Musk is gonna totally own all those deep state Democrats. I guess that's not like as interesting long term. Now, Midas Touch does good stuff. Midas Touch is like the 40 to 80-year-old American liberals. They love it so much. I mean, we need all the juice we can get, right? Wow, they have been booming. I mean, at least by the data shown here, up 120%. Oh, wow, and number 3, we have Candace, the actual Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. Just gonna guess that one's right-wing. The Sean Ryan Show, just gonna guess that one's right-wing. Do I know? No, but I'm gonna guess, you know. Theo Vaughn, I know that one's right-wing. The Ben Shapiro Show, take a guess. The Dan Bongino Show, take a guess. Oh, and then we've got NPR. Podcasts are just modern radio, which was always right-wing dominated. That's true, to an extent. You can probably track, like, a decline in people who are doing traditional radio listenership. Like, you can just sort of see that, like, transposed over into the, you know, the podcasting world. Bongino is a psycho. Yeah, he's a psychopath, yeah. Steve Bartlett was on the Dragon's Den in the UK. He does a lot of anti-vax shit on Diary of a CEO. That's cool, man. It's cool how everything is bad all the time, basically. NPR leftism, worst leftism. NPR isn't, like, leftist. I would argue they're not even really left of center, you know? There are left of center people who work with NPR, and they try their best, I imagine. But NPR is, like, unbelievably cucked to the politically centrist, like, we have to be polite all the time. If we ever express an opinion that sounds too partisan, even if it's completely objectively correct, but the right loves to claim NPR is leftist. Yeah, because facts are leftist to them. That's why Elon Musk makes 20 tweets a day saying that Wikipedia is like far left propaganda, when it just objectively, factually describes things that have happened. Not to say that Wikipedia is perfect, but it's certainly not left-leaning. So depressing when it's broken down like that. If it makes you feel any better, there's a lot of overlap between these. For example, a lot of the people watching Joe Rogan are also watching Theo Vaughn. A lot of the people watching Ben Shapiro are watching Diary of a CEO. Like, this, it's not like you add these numbers together and that gives you the total number of conservatives or whatever. There is a lot of, like, you know, overlap in the Venn diagram. Who do you think there's more of an echo chamber, left or right wing? There's nothing in modern history that compares to the right wing echo chamber. It doesn't feel genuine to even compare them. Like, it's not even, it's so far beyond. It's not even possible to compare them. Candace is at least an anti-Zionist, but most likely not with the best motivations. No, probably not with the best motivations, I would say. Yeah, there's a reason why Candace Owens has an issue with the Zionist project, and it has nothing to do with the well-being of the Arab people, okay? She's just a... Well, she doesn't actually believe in that, but she had to find something to pivot to after things fell through with the, Daily Wire. Yeah, are we all ready for the Kanye podcast? I'm gonna watch the hell out of that. The Yee-cast. That'd be good. That question is like asking which do you think is heavier, this sedan or the moon? The right-wing versus left-wing echo chamber? Yeah, it's literally just a proximity bias. You experience the echo chamber in the left wing more, so you're basically saying, like, which do you think is heavier, this car or the moon? I mean, I've never felt the moon, but I literally, like, can't move this car, so I can't imagine how much heavier the moon must be, you know? Like, yeah, I just feel like, based on my experience in trying to move the car, like, it's got to be the heavier one. Apparently, the Sean Ryan Show is a podcast for military and veterans. I mean, you can take a look at him, you know. I can recognize chud phrenology like that. Either way, Godspeed to the Midas Touch podcast. Do you think they're making a misstep by revealing their true intentions and thoughts so early and gaining power? I think that they think that it doesn't matter anymore. I think that the gamble that they're making is that they control capital and media to the point, and government, to the point that they can just control the democratic mandate. So the question of are they overextending or are they correct and it doesn't matter anymore, that can only be answered with time, you know? But that's the bet that they're making. They made this bet, by the way, after January 6th. Before January 6th, the Republicans were still interested in trying to bring new people into their movement in a relatively I shan't say non-confrontational, but they were interested in expanding the tent. After Jan 6 failed, there was a while where Trump was like a persona non grata, but after it became clear there would be no real consequences for what he did and momentum started to build back up, this new wave, Trump 2.0 they call it, they were a lot more vindictive, a lot more open with their intentions, and it became really clear, like, this is their bid, you know? They're done. They've closed ranks. So Garland fucked us? Yes, like immeasurably so. Literally almost feels like a one-to-one with Hitler. Well, thankfully Trump's 80 years old when Hitler wasn't. So, you know, we've got that little angle. You see Jesse Waters admitted. Jesse Waters, I think, is one of their like weaker links because he's a wit who just says whatever's on the top of his mind, and he occasionally has to be shushed by his co-hosts on the Fox 5.
It's not really the same. Dana, we are waging a 21st century information warfare campaign against the left, and they are using tactics from the 1990s. They are holding tiny press conferences, tiny little rallies. They're screaming into the ether on MSNBC. This is what you call top-down command and control. You get your talking points from a newspaper, and you put it on the broadcast.
Kind of true. Oh, he's completely correct. Yeah, no, 100%. He's just describing, yeah.
Network, and then it disappears. What you're seeing on the right is asymmetrical. It's like grassroots guerrilla warfare. Someone says something on social media, Musk retweets it, Rogan podcasts it, Fox broadcasts it, and by the time it reaches everybody...
I do appreciate him acknowledging that Joe Rogan is as much a part of the right-wing information machine as Fox News and Musk, the special advisor to the president, you know? It is nice to get like an acknowledgement, you know, that they treat him like an asset, the same way they can rely on Fox News. So Jesse's afraid of the grassroots. You have to listen, you know. He's saying they are the grassroots. And to an extent, they're correct. For years now, anytime any random civilian has a gripe about something that's too woke in their lives, instantly they're teleported up to Fox News, you know? Look what happened with Riley Gaines. Like, you have so many examples of like some random dumb parent in rural Pennsylvania is like, yeah, I got brought into a student parent teacher conference and the teacher said that from now on they're going to respect the pronouns of their students, and then they get like a week in the limelight. They get like cycled through all of these media channels, you know. They're very aggressive with it. The Democrats have, of course, none of this. Absolutely no ground game, no like information control, no organic. God, man, they leave so much on the table. The closest the Democrats ever got, which I was proud of when they did it, or maybe proud's not the right word, but I was happy when they did it. The closest the Democrats ever got was at the DNC when they elevated those women who was forced to give birth to their... Remember the lady forced to give birth to her child and the was her father, and she was like 13 at the time or something like that. I forget the exact details, but like that was extraordinarily well done, phenomenally well done. But the thing is, the right is doing that 24/7 all the time. They're doing that constantly. I don't know if that's necessarily grassroots. Well, the whole thing is being coordinated by the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world, but it is decentralized. That might be a better term for it, you know? There's an organic flow of this information, of the pace with which it's engaged, rather than like stiffly waiting for, you know, Jeffries to do a press conference where he reads from a paper saying like, we you know, Elon Musk, more like Elon poop. And then you see that roll on MSNBC for 6 hours and then it's done, you know? I do appreciate Jesse Waters being straightforward with it. Hey, text. I'm gonna lower the text limit. I don't need text from you guys. You need like 4, 5, maybe 6 words tops, okay? You yappers. You're used to the character limit on Twitter, I'll tell you that much. Or 440? I don't remember. I don't know how much it is.
Billions of people have seen it. It's free money. And we're actually talking about expressing information. They are suppressing information.
There's some truth to that. Some truth to it. Obviously, the right is the one actually suppressing information, but like broadly speaking, give the game away. I can't take him seriously while the text says Days of Doge. I mean, it kind of is the Days of Doge right now, ain't it? Just a little bit. Yeah. This is why I was so disappointed with the protests yesterday. Nobody said shit about demanding the Dems to do better. Well, they shouldn't even have to. This is the problem, man. Like, these protests shouldn't be like, oh, here's like a random independent organization that stirred people up on social media, and like maybe at some of them a Democratic representative shows up. This should be like a 24/7 screaming contest. The Democrats should be like, you know, slamming on the walls and the podium. They should be screaming all the time. It's not to the same degree, but Dem senators are going out saying we're in a constitutional crisis. Yeah, but nobody gives a shit. Like that's an acknowledgement of weakness. Oh, we're in a constitutional crisis? What the f is the average person supposed to do with that? Also, look at this. PBS News, Democratic Senator Andy Kim explains why he thinks U.S. is nearing a constitutional crisis. And you provided this from 7 days ago. Do you see the difference? Meanwhile, on a right-wing media, you go on Fox News, you go on Newsmax, you go on OAN, you go on the Joe Rogan podcast, Theo Von, whatever, nonstop screaming, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. Doge is finally taking to people these tasks. We're undoing all the corruption. Wokeness is gone. Wokeness is dead. Golden Age of America is coming in now. Just look at what the Republicans were doing back in like 2021, 2022, after Trump started to rise back up again once they realized he wasn't going to be facing the consequences for January 6th. Even though they weren't in power, they were relentless in their control of the culture war. Why can they do it but Democrats can't? Because Democrats have no dick. They have no piss. They pee out of a little hole where their gooch is. And I'm not saying if you're like that, that's a problem, but we need a little bit of spiritual dickfulness. They've got a damn cloaca. A little fear-mongering. It's not fear-mongering. It's just true. Fear-mongering implies disingenuity, manufactured consent. This is just reporting the facts here. We need passion. Yeah, we need truth-mongering. Are Dems still doing that? What did we do today? Update. Speaking of dicklessness, I don't want Senator Andy Kim to sit here and explain why he thinks we're reaching a constitutional crisis. I want Senator Andy Kim to scream into the microphone about how this country is getting raped by a team of 5 billionaires who despise the American working class, how they have blanketed this country in misinformation, and people aren't going to realize how bad things have gotten until they try to withdraw their Social Security money and it's gone. You know, no one's following this. You need messaging that will reach rural Pennsylvanian voters. Will this reach it? No. Shut up. No one will care until it affects them. It's already affecting them. It already is. The link I meant to send, yes, it's still lacking. You meant to send another link? Well, you're just giving me another thing to call dickless.
Have already used. You talk about the Democrats. Senator John Fetterman is urging his fellow Democrats to calm down a bit on language exactly like yours, saying if you keep yelling, people are going to...
Right away, nobody's watching this. Nobody's watching this. In fact, I'll prove my point. ABC television ratings. 2024 to 2025 season ratings. Okay, ABC News, obviously. I meant news. Google. It's paywall. ABC's newscast average 8.3 million total viewers in the... Let's see. And 1.1 to 8 is plus 3 and 5 weekly averages of ABC World News Tonight. It says based on 4 days. This isn't even a newscast. It's this week, their Sunday morning politics show. That's right. So it's not that's not even like an accurate by the Nielsen ratings for that show.
You talk about the Democrats, Senator John.
ABC this week Nielsen ratings. Thank you. I didn't realize it was the this week rather than the this week goes year to year or grows year to year total viewers and adults 25 to 54 and week to week in adults 25 to this week ABC this week he says total viewers 2.6 million. 2.6 million. Okay, remember when we were looking at the weekly downloads or monthly downloads of Joe Rogan and we were in like the 50 million something? And trust me, you do not want to compare this to Fox 5. Okay? You do not want to compare this to Fox 5.
John Fetterman is to it.
Connecticut this last weekend. This is a fundamental corruption. And democracies don't last forever. And what those who are trying to destroy...